solid margin. And there was a lot of great information coming out of the AGM that Richo will share with us shortly. Anyway, the ball at the centre. Willem Drew grabs it for the white team. Handballs to Schofield in the meantime, inside 50, but only as far as Lockie Jones, who handballs to Alir. And there's your man, Dersma. You're loving him, Timmy, in that number 7, Guernsey. He's got a sort of, it just fits him well, doesn't it, the old Brad Ebert?
Looks great, doesn't it? But his game today has been very good. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Indeed. Went forward to Dixon. Bergman's got the ball, spun around a 360, and that is holding the footy. And a free kick will go to the black team there in Stephen Motlop, who will be shooting for goal number 3 by my mathematics, Tim.
Kicked 1 in the first and 1 in the second. From
about 35 metres out. So black team exerting their supremacy here, early doors in the last quarter. Big thank you to our corporate partner in RAA, who are bringing us today's stream as well. Thank you to them, and of course all our major partners.
You haven't done it yet. If you haven't done it yet, get all your insurances, ring up the RAA.
Correct.
Tell them you're a Port member, you get discount. I've done it myself. It's
unbelievable.
Awesome. Save heaps.
Stevie just pushes it to the left, and that's a minor score. So Port Adelaide black team move on to 97, leading the white team by 70 points. Are on 27s. We've got a special guest joining us, Timmy, Port Adelaide CEO Matthew Richardson. Richo, how are you, mate?
Really good, Norts. Great to be here.
Yeah, what
Timmy,
a sight.
How are you?
Good, mate.
Brilliant sight, isn't it? God's country at its very best.
It's just so good to be back at Alberton Oval watching footy with some of our life members and past players and Club 1870 members over in the grandstand.
Now, people might be wondering why the whole ground's not packed, Richo. It was obviously COVID restricted. I think the number had to be under 400, is that right?
Yeah, the number had to be under 500. And as you can see, the grandstands are just fenced off and the people are just sitting in the grandstands. So, we'd obviously love to have everyone back here, but it's just good to have a few people here and getting around. It's just having a chat to a lot of them, and they're just great to be back at Alberton Oval watching footy.
Now, you had your debut AGM last night.
Debut AGM.
With a bit of difference?
Well, as I said, it was a great honour and a privilege to be presenting as the CEO at my first AGM in actually my 20th. So it was my 20th AGM since I've been in the club. But so as I said on the night, it's been some initiation. But it was pleasing. It was a bit strange presenting it online, and not a lot of people in the room. So I found it quite challenging actually, because you don't get a read from the room in terms of how people are responding.
You don't get any
feedback.
You don't get any heckling, no. I mean, that's a bonus.
Timmy G on oxygen style at the fringe.
That's heckling.
Yeah. But no, it was just a really good opportunity to. As we said, last year was a really challenging year financially. The footy team, we had a great year. We just didn't quite get to where we wanted to in the end. But enormous challenges financially, which have been well documented. But we did build really strong momentum through 2020 to go into 2021. And the other thing that we did was it really shaped our thinking moving forward. And I guess when COVID really hit, you can take a glass half empty or a glass half full, and as it started to evolve, we thought, well, hang on, there's an opportunity here for us to really set ourselves up and hopefully use it as an opportunity to rebuild our business and really attack coming out the other end, which is where we feel like we are now. So last night was just an opportunity to present for the first time to our members just our strategic framework, just how we've built that. We've taken that through all the internal groups in the club, and of course the club is really important. We get our stakeholders and our members on board with that, so really good opportunity.
One thing last year that seemed to defy all trends was the sale of the Port Adelaide traditional jumper.
The prison bar, is that right, Tim? Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Now tell us exactly how good that was as a selling item.
Yeah, it's probably no surprise to any Port Adelaide person, but it was the #1 selling retail item in the AFL.
In the AFL?
In 2020. So
better than Essendon, better than Collingwood.
Well, it was better than the Premiers. So
there you go.
That gives you a bit of a sense. So,
and we wore it for the first time in Showdown, which was exciting.
We wore it first time in a Showdown. It was the 5th time in 23 years that we've worn it in the AFL. And again, one of those great lessons from 2020 was, I think we all learned that the game is nothing without the fans.
Yeah.
And as we know, team fans don't follow leagues, they follow clubs, and anything that we can do to connect our fans with their clubs, we should absolutely be doing. And that's our whole argument. This is a Guernsey. It's our, we affectionately call it our people's Guernsey. It's important to them. It's not just a Guernsey. It's really about sort of who we are as a club and where we're from. And we're in that conversation at the moment with the AFL. As they keep telling us, they own the IP for all the 18 clubs.
That's correct.
And they can make the call.
Yeah, we like that. We like that. The AGM, you would have displayed what's going to happen with the redevelopment areas of the club?
That's right. So we sort of painted a picture, Timmy, of our strategic vision for the club, which really is an optimistic view of, okay, well, where do we want to be in 5 years' time?
Yep.
And there are 6 elements to that. Obviously, win premierships and more than one. It's about 100,000 members. It's about grow our community heart, the place we play in the community, and the fantastic community programs that we run, like the Aboriginal Power Cup, and wonderful work our guys do in the community. Our connection into the port is critical. We've got to grow commercially, and then we've got to redevelop our precinct here at Alberton Oval, and there's 2 parts to that. One is the Port Club, or the traditional footballers club facility, which is really the heart and soul of the club. It's where people come when they come to Port Adelaide. They don't come to the admin building or the training facility. That's where they come. So we're underway there now. So downstairs is being renovated as we speak. It's unbelievable. Actually, I was in there the other day and I can't believe the ceilings where the dining room used to be. We've taken all the ceilings out and we've gone back to the structural steel and the concrete, which is actually 3 metres higher. So I don't know, Timmy, if you had anything to do with the ceiling height, but is that why they lowered the ceilings as much?
It was definitely judged on people my height.
So downstairs will be this fantastic Port Adelaide experience. As we said to the builders, we said at the time they'd done a little bit of research and they came to us and they said, look, we've been to a couple of other clubs around town and we've got a picture. And we said, whoa, no. This is, when you arrive at this place, this is one of the great football clubs of the world, and that's what it's going to scream when you arrive. So there's this museum, storytelling, expanded retail downstairs, with this grand staircase which is going to lead you upstairs to the best view in Adelaide, out over Alberton Oval.
Sort of like climbing heaven stairs.
Absolutely.
To
and
the light.
just coming down. So that's going
to the light.
That's going to be magnificent. And then, of course, on the other side of the oval, it's all about our high performance facilities for our teams, and we want to be in the AFLW by 2023. That's really important for us. That's about the club of the future. It's also really important for our membership growth and the next generation of Port Adelaide and young girls. And so we want to expand our high performance facilities and give them the best facilities that we possibly can. There's an expanded, you see on the plans that we published last night, there's an expanded training space, which is a soccer pitch. Now that's really important from a high performance point of view, because most of the training now is full game simulation stuff. So the guys that are injured or aren't in those game drills need another space, and a lot of the clubs around the competition have got 2 full-size ovals. Yep. We can't fit 2 full-size ovals here at Alberton Oval. We're not going anywhere. Alberton Oval's our home. It's spiritually really important to us. But we've got room for that, so that'll be on the side, and also then an extension of the Alan Scott headquarters building, which will incorporate a couple of basketball courts. And why that's important is because, again, as I said, this is going to be the vision that we've got for this precinct, is that it's high performance, it's Port Adelaide, but it's also community. So we're working really closely with the council, who have been fantastically supportive. The biggest community sport needs that they have in the district is junior basketball. The West Adelaide Bearcats have got 90 junior teams.
Wow.
They're playing in school halls, meeting rooms. They haven't got enough rooms, so when our professional athletes leave at 6 o'clock at night, they can come in and their junior teams will have a fantastic facility. And again, it just brings more of the community and people into the precinct. And the soccer pitch then becomes a facility that the local junior primary schools can use. But also, you can imagine 2023 Women's World Cup coming here, high performance training base where one of those teams could set themselves up. So we're in some really positive conversations with all levels of government at the moment and funding partners. We've also got some fantastically generous people that are helping us with the Port Club facility, who, Timmy, you would know these people really well, but I often tell the story that our footy club up until about 20 years ago was really generous families and people that got our club into the AFL in the first place. AFL clubs and our club have grown to a point now where that's not as impactful as it was, but the amazing thing about what's happening there is it's these same families that are contributing to the club, and it's about the legacy that they're going to leave behind for their kids and their grandkids in 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So
now, is it true that you found in part of this development, as Charlie kicks his third,
Second for the quarter too, the big fella.
Quarter, correct. Is it true that you found some original wharf pylons that were able to use as part of the development?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we said to the builders was we want to bring the port into Alberton Oval, so that structural timbers, warehouse type feel, and they went off and did some research, and they found a guy that had 25 original 160-year-old wharf pylons sitting in a storage shed out at Malala. Wow. So we quickly snapped those up. So as you come in downstairs, they'll be through that. We needed those in order to build the trophy cabinet, because obviously it's going to need some serious reinforcement with 37 premiership cups. And importantly, Tim, we've left an extra 6 or 7 spots, which should cover us hopefully for the next
6 years. Okay,
that's exactly right.
Oh, understandable. Like it. Gee whiz, that'll really look good though. You've got
well, I've got a little
original
model.
Pylons.
I've got a little model in my office actually, which I'll show you. But yeah, no, it's
will I fit in it?
Pretty cool.
How little is it?
Not in the model. You'll fit in the real thing.
Oh, that's good news. Good news.
That is just so good though. A spiritual connection with the Wolves of Port Adelaide that will be physically present now in our club
fair
rooms.
Chance
just
when Bobby Quinn rode over the river. When he rode over to go to training, he might have climbed up those pylons.
Climb up those pylons, that's right. Well, I guess that was inspiration. It was, for a lot of years we've competed with the local hotels or clubs around the area, and the reality is we're not hoteliers. We don't reinvest in that facility like a lot of the local hotels do every 5 or 6 years. So we thought, well, what can we create here that no one can compete with? Well, no one can compete with the Port Adelaide Football Club and the story but it's got to be an experience. So I sort of joke with you go to some of these great venues and sports clubs around the world where they have souvenirs and souvenir shops and that sort of stuff. So you'll be able to get spoons, Timmy, tea towels, you name it. You'll be able to get it here at Alberton.
It'll have a Port Adelaide badge on it.
It will.
See, Lockie Jones spoiled
it. If I stand still long enough, I'll get a badge, Port Adelaide logo on me. Correct?
Well, I think there's going to be a what do you call it? There'll be going to be a replica badge range, so I'm sure we'll be able to dig out one of your original badges that'll still be flying around.
Can I pick it out, because I've been getting quite a bit of 1988 mullet photos floating around.
The mullet's coming back.
Look at Lockie Jones.
Lockie Jones. Yeah. What a ripper!
Not on me, it doesn't.
I just saw Lockie, an amazing spoil. I think Tommy Corcoran's worn a knee in the hip again, but
courageous man.
Only knows one way, Lockie Jones. Rich, I just saw...
this is young Jake Wiedemann.
Yeah,
son of... playing at home.
Son of
Wayne.
Yeah, great to...
Good lad.
Great to have him on board. Just seeing Xavier Duursma go for a mark there, Richo, number 7. Had a couple of questions last night about, farewelling Brad Ebert and Justin Westhoff, and, at the AGM we had some questions, and absolutely the club will look to do something around round 2.
Absolutely, Norts. Two, champions of our club. And obviously last year, just because of the circumstances, we didn't get the opportunity to see them off the way that they deserve. So round 2, our first home game at Adelaide Oval against Essendon on Saturday 27th of March. We're really looking forward to that, and them and their families, really importantly, will be part of that day. Of course, Westy, it's great. Westy's still around the club. He's working with Paul Stewart in the welfare area, and also in our next generation academies. And also I've seen Brad around the club a bit at training. Probably selling wine.
Yeah, I saw that.
Staying really, really well connected. I know he's doing some study at the moment, and I think now that the real stuff's starting, he's telling me he's missing it, but certainly enjoying a lot of the other stuff he's doing.
If you're just joining our stream, it's all thanks to our friends at RAA, of course, doing a wonderful job bringing us to the stream. Midway through the last quarter, 15 minutes in the last quarter, the Blacks leading the Whites by plenty at this age, 117-27, as Charlie will handball over the top to Rosie. And Rosie's kicked 5. He's got a handful, Timmy. He's kicked his 5th, a couple from the goal square in this last quarter, but the Black team dominating at this stage.
Talking about RAA before, I was in there during the week. I'm now a 4-car family, which is pretty scary when you get to a 4-car family.
Yeah.
And got all the insurances and the renewals done, and roadside service
Membership,
stuff through
correct.
RAA. They were
Yep.
fantastic. So
Brilliant.
And you get a discount for being a Port member. You know that?
Number one, you get a discount for being a Port member, and because I'm a 4-car family, you get the extra discount on top of that.
Wow.
I'll have to look into that. I got 5, so yeah, all under my name for some reason.
Talking about our members and our member partner, Richo, round 2, I mean, how good is it that SA Health last week announced that, 75% capacity back at Adelaide Oval, 40,000 screaming Port fans. We spoke to Kenny and CD last night about it. They just, the players just can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, number one, it's fantastic for our members. What that's going to mean is that 40,000, most of our members are going to be able to sit in their allocated reserve seat, which we know is one of the really important things for them. And the great thing about that, I think the thing we all missed about going to the footy last year is when you go to the footy, it's not just about going to the footy, what happens on the field, it's all the people you're sitting around.
Experience.
And, we've got people who have been sitting with each other at the footy, not just at Adelaide Oval, but at Amy Stadium and Albion before that. And, they don't have any connection during the week, but when they go to the footy, they're the people they sit around. So that's going to be really important, which is great. And as you said, Norts, and I think it comes across really well in the film, this is Port Adelaide, our players are really acutely aware of the that connection to our people and our fans and how important it is to them. And it was interesting in that film where Boki was talking about that, as he's got older, he actually relaxes in games and he actually takes notice of people in the crowd. So I do know how much our players are looking forward to getting back to Adelaide Oval with last year. We had some games where, even the showdown with 2,000 people was just crazily loud.
I remember that Richmond game.
Then it went to 10,000, and then the Geelong game with 20-something thousand. Like, I can't even imagine what 40 or 50,000 Port Adelaide people are going to sound like next time we get them in the stadium. Then, of course, that the significance of that first Never Tear Us Apart moment is going to be enormous.
Xavier Dersma kicks a goal and
bow and arrow.
I don't think there was much going on there. If it was, the arrow's broken. But I think he's going to hold that for the real games. But well done, Xavier, getting his first goal, and he's played quite well.
And so the membership team, they're ready and taking membership calls, from Monday to Friday regularly, Richo. So membership tracking really well year on year at the moment.
Yeah, just on that, last year obviously tough with the COVID situation and the like. What was sort of the percentage that were able to hang in there?
Yeah, I think it was really well documented through the period. We took an attitude when COVID came along because it wasn't about us. It was actually about people out there were dealing with incredible circumstances. A lot of people lost their jobs, pay cuts, all those sort of things. So we were really conscious of that, and our attitude was if people needed a refund, then we would make that really easy for them.
Yep.
And we did that, and that's the Port Adelaide way. What we found was, I think there was 98% of people chose to leave their money with the club, which
that's amazing.
When as we presented last night at the AGM, the financial impact on the club was really significant still. So as amazing that was, we still had a over $18 million hit on our revenue streams. There was a lot of cost saving measures that we put in place, but without that support from our members, the situation would have been a whole lot worse than it was. So we're just so appreciative of the support that we got from members. We always are. We'll never take that for granted, and we're just looking forward to, as I touched on before, our renewals are going really well for 2021. Certainly the increase in capacity is giving people a lot more confidence, so we've seen a spike, and I know our membership team the last couple of weeks since that I think the renewals have sort of jumped up by 40 or 50%. So there's a lot to look forward to. It's great now that we can actually get to see the team playing. There's a lot of excitement building, and we're only 4 or 5 weeks away from footy.
108 points the margin here at the moment. The black team well on top of we did discuss it at half time that the teams were going to get changed, so it was going to be a little bit one-sided as we anticipated in this second half. You mentioned the support of all the partners. I mean, the corporate partners were amazing in 2020, as you've touched on too, Richo, in terms of 100% support from those wonderful partners.
Yeah, at every level, Norts, like as Koshi touched on last night, MG first year major sponsor, first time in AFL footy, and then almost 6 weeks in pandemic, everything gets shut down, and they were the first to come and say, no, we're in this for the long haul and we're alongside you, and that's been incredible. I think MG, fastest growing car brand in Australia over the last 12 months. You speak to the local dealers here. We was talking to Darryl Wadsworth the other day, and they just can't get enough stock. So the Port Adelaide family are doing us proud there with MG. GFG, we're really invested in each other's communities. Whyalla was really disappointing, but I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to get back up there. And KFC, well, as I said, it's just a no-brainer. Kenny loves the chips, and the boys they had a lot of fun with the cricket game the other day. But at every level, our premier partners have been extraordinary. And one of the things that we talk about internally, Norts, is just they're not. The partnership is genuine. We're building really deep connections with our partners. We're involved in their businesses. How can we help them achieve what they need to achieve? They have a really good understanding of what we're trying to do, and so we've got a really a great group of partners that we love working with, and they're invested in our growth and our story as well, which is great.
Pete Laddams, he was just sort of nursing an elbow a couple of minutes ago, but it looks like he's recovered well. Got a heavy tackle in the middle of the ground. He's going to have a set shot from 35 metres out. Just pushes it to the left, but does extend the lead for Port Black to 109 points. Port Black 136, Port White 27. The score really irrelevant at the moment. It's just more about how some of the individuals have got through, and touch wood, Timmy, no injuries with 3 or 4 minutes to go. Richo, just from an overall, I know haven't seen, you've been interacting with coteries, etc., but it's been a wonderful day.
It's just been fantastic. As I said at the start, it's great to be back at Alberton. It's a great day. Nice morning. It's just great to see the guys there playing some footy, and then in 2 weeks' time, when some real stuff starts against an opposition, it'll step up, I'm sure.
And there was a member-elect board member last night in the AGM?
Yeah, there was. We've actually got 2 new directors. So Christine Zeitz joins us as a board-elected director. Christine, really impressive lady. She's the managing director of US defence company Northrop Grumman, I think. Asia Pacific region, based in Adelaide, and also Canberra. Really well connected in that space, which obviously strategically is important for us. Christine's Port Adelaide story is I think her cousin grew up around the corner and was coming to Alberton Oval when she was 4 or 5 years old. So Timmy, I'm sure she'll remember the mullet well.
Good.
And another lady by the name of Kathy Nagel, who was the member-elected director. So it's great to have Kathy on board.
CEO of Western Hospital.
Western Hospital, and
Port Adelaide, born and bred.
Talking to her last night, really excited and really passionate about it. And then Trevor Teeley, who swaps over. Trevor's his legacy at Port Adelaide's been incredible. He's been on the board, Magpies All Power, for 15 years. Does a mountain of work with our finance guys, and really pleasingly, he's agreed to stay involved on our finance and audit committee, and also with the redevelopment of the Port Club happening. So
fantastic.
Feel like we've
got
the best of both worlds.
Well done.
Well, thank you, Richo. Thanks for joining us, mate. And again, congratulations on your appointment as CEO in October, and hit the ground running. So great to have you on board, Richo, and well done last night at AGM.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Daniel. Great to be here.
Thank you, Richo. Well, that just about draws our coverage to an end. We're about 90 seconds away from full time, but Connor Rose has kicked his 6th, and the last 3 from the goal line. But that's the transition of football that's happening, and Black team dominating at the moment. They just ran in waves then, Tim, ran in waves.
To summarise, and we've got about a minute to do that, it's been pleasing. All the players that have come in, you've wanted to see them and see them play well and get some touches. Fantasia impressed, Alia impressed down back. I thought especially his first half was really good, so that was very pleasing. And, the names that you see in their now 3rd or 4th season starting to really step it up again and again. So, I think Port fans can be pleased that, and I'll tell you what, they keep putting their bodies on the line, which I love. Well, it was Robbie Gray that time coming back with it.
The last 30 seconds of internal trial, and they have gone from go to woe in terms of the way they've been colliding. We saw Lockie Jones.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen Charlie Dixon and Sam Powell-Pepper go head-to-head.
Tommy Corcoran copped a couple too.
Oh, Ollie Wines and Joel Garner here on centre wing just in front of us in that second quarter, third quarter. So as the clock winds down, nearly full time, and The great news is that if the siren and everything goes according to plan, the teams are both going to get through injury-free, which is fantastic. And there is the siren. Big Mitchy Georgiadis is going to try and unload from a long. Let it bounce, son. He doesn't. That's Travis Boak. He couldn't have stuck that roll through, but he's taken a chest mark.
He's allowed it.
He, of course, is allowed to. And that wraps up what has been a terrific day here at Alberton. Great to have football back at Alberton Oval. Great to be able to welcome in some members, and absolutely fantastic to be able to bring you this stream to your homes or wherever you are around Australia and the world.